Hi guys, it's Chase with Star Tutors again, and we are here to film what we'll call a part of our reading strategy for the ACT. So we had a lot of comments, which was great. We've had a lot of great response on YouTube, which we're really pleased with, and we want to try to continue to provide you guys with as many free resources as possible. For those that don't know already, that we always have free review sessions on our Facebook page. That's all going to be live streamed. We'll have a review session every Thursday night before any ACT going forward. So we highly encourage you guys to like our Facebook page, The Star Tutors, www.facebook.com/The Star Tutors. Owen will put it somewhere around my head, I'm sure. So what I really want to focus on today, unfortunately, because of that live stream and because we're preparing for that, we hope you guys all participate. We weren't able to get a full reading test video done before the real test here in a couple days. So what we're going to do instead is we're going to show you how that double passage idea works. We're going to show it in real time, but we're only going to be able to do one passage for the reading test. Now, I think that should still work because here's what we're going to assume. We're doing the double. Remember that on the reading section, you're going to skip the double passage and you're going to do that last. The double passage is the one that says passage A, this is ACT reading, passage A, passage B, and then it gives you a few questions that cover both passage A and passage B at the end. The advantage to doing the double passage last is because it's so easy to compartmentalize. So if you have 5 minutes left, if you've taken 10 minutes and you've really focused on accuracy on the reading section, if you take 10 minutes on each question, on each passage before the double passage, so the last one you do is the double, then you can still raise your score from that point forward, right? Because you'll do passage A, then those questions. If you still have time remaining, you can do passage B and those questions. Okay, and then you can do the combo questions at the end if you still have time left. Again, one of our fundamental beliefs on the ACT reading section is that you do read the entire passage, right? You're reading it for content so that when you get to the questions, you can do those very quickly. If you go to a full-length passage at the end of the test, then the expectation would be to read that entire passage. So if you struggle with timing at all on the ACT reading section, we highly encourage you to do the double passage last, and you're going to see why here in a second. So again, because we couldn't film the full video and get it edited and everything ready to go before this next ACT, what we decided to do was we were going to make the assumption, right, that you guys took 30 minutes, 10 questions, that you took 30 minutes on the first three passages of the reading section. Now, if it doesn't typically take through 30 minutes and you get all those 30 questions right anyway and you have 8 minutes left, then you're great. You don't have to necessarily be watching this video. You're probably going to get a great score. Assuming that you're worried about timing, I highly encourage you guys to do the double passage last. And again, we're going to make the assumption here that you did all the 30 questions already. So you did the other three passages that were not the double passage, passage A, passage B. You did all of those and you got at least 29, 30 questions right because you took your time. So what we're doing today in this reading instructional video is we're going to do the double passage last as if you had already gotten all the other 30 right. And again, if you want to watch our other videos to see how that works, you absolutely can. And we're going to do the BO2 passage number 3. So BO2 passage number 3 was the double passage from the BO2 test, which was June 2019. We're going to do that entire passage, but I'm going to set the timer for 5 minutes. Remember that you typically get about 9 minutes, just a little under 9 minutes per passage on average. But I'm going to make the assumption that timing has been an issue for some of you on the reading section and that you're doing the first three passages in 10 minutes each, but you're really focused on accuracy because every one of our videos on every section has continued to stress the importance of accuracy way more than timing. So what we're going to do is I'm going to set the timer for 5 minutes. I'm going to show you how this strategy works in real time, assuming that you've already gotten all of the other questions right. And this is how you can maximize your score. Okay, and then we'll show you how the scale works so that if you got the 30 questions right and then you use this method, because you were focused on accuracy on the first 30 and then you use this method, how high your score can continue to go. Okay, so without further ado, I have 5 minutes on the clock. I'm going to read passage A, do those questions, then do passage B, those questions, and if I have time, with only 5 minutes, that's going to be hard to do, I'm going to do those last combo questions at the end. Again, we're assuming that you only have 5 minutes left. You've done the first 30 already. Focus on accuracy and then start this double passage. No matter where it shows up in the test, do this one last if you struggle with timing on the ACT reading section. Okay, so I'm going to put 5 minutes on the clock and my time starts now. All of passage A, then all of passage B. Let's see, I should have had my commenter up, ready to go. Okay, miniature. Why are miniature things so benign? The miniature. Work when they're so small. That's why we think over infants. Believe that we're chihuahua, birds and miniature. Miniatures offer change of scale. Yourselves new. Yourself in relation to dollhouses. You're large enough to hold such things fully in your hand. On the other hand, miniature issues invitation to the realm, and so if we forget or disregard our size in the dollhouse, and you can walk to the kitchen. Fit inside the miniature, we experience certain states of being and belief. Words in grain of sand, whether we are in relation to them omniscient or compassionately small beings, let us leave our own selves and perspectives behind. Miniatures encourage attention in the way. It requires a listener to quiet down and incline toward the speaker. Sometimes we need binoculars to assist our looking, but mediated or not, miniatures suggest there is more than meets the eye. Yet there's much missing. Hard at the crevice. Okay, the miniature is a working, functioning, complete world unto itself, form of something larger, transcend their size most strangely to me. The beings who inhabit fairyland, those elves, pixies, they don't need us. Their smallness is our problem or intrigue or desire. Okay, so I'm done with passage A, so now I'm assuming I got all the other questions right, so I'm going to do the passage A questions. The organization of passage A is best described as a list of innovations in miniature art. No, it's talking about miniatures. I don't know what that's exactly meaning, but misconceptions about miniature art followed by personal account of no. Qualities miniature things share, including descriptive examples that illustrate those qualities. I think so. Reasons artists. No, it's got to be C. Okay, right? Guys, the advantage to this is that passage A was so short that I should remember the majority of the things that came up in it. The example of Dollhouse Land primarily serves to illustrate the author's point that miniatures can encourage people to. Dollhouse Land, I remember underlining that. On the other hand, miniatures issue invitations to the realm, and so we forget our disregard for size. In Dollhouse Land, you can walk through the kitchen. Okay, I think that was right around the right. Let's see. Lines 18 through, oh shoot, primarily serves to illustrate the author's point that miniatures can encourage people to live life. Oh, right there, guys, right? Disregard their own size, right? 18 to 22. You're large enough. Yeah, disregard their own size. I think that's right. As it is used in 33, the word mediated most nearly means 33. Sometimes we need binoculars, microscopes, view messages to assist our looking, but mediated or not, miniatures suggest there's more that meets the eye easily. Let's see. Mediated or not, advised, not considered or not, advised, no. Usually, I think it's D. I think it's aided because they were talking about binoculars, but that's one that's kind of tricky because mediated a lot of times is solved, like when we're talking about law. I got to keep going though. Let's do passage B. I think it's aided without meaning to do so. The Morgan Library is created a triumph conceptual art, the smallest art exhibition in the world. The Prayer Book of Claude de France, as the adventures called, consists of nothing other than the prayer book at 2.5 by 3 inches. The exhibition of the book are both so small that they can fit in the palm of your hand. That may not sound like much. Do you realize this limited in the work? We're ready to say the author teacher that no one feel the need to stand by the original one could own or reproduce yourself into anyone. No matter how good a reproduction, you have to be a physical witness to such you truly say that you've seen the work of art. It was with such convictions that I rushed over to the Morgan to see the tiny commodity in question. What a waste of time, not because the object is lacking worthiness, but because the offers a mean of examining the book that then seems far better. Every page of the manuscript is there. Living calamity zooming is so powerful and so precious. Okay, so the main was commissioned for Queen nearly 3 generations after the invention. There's no practical reason, rather it was delight to the luxury itself. Okay, so I think I have an understanding. I only have a minute left, but I think I know what's going on. The author of passage B most likely summarized the assertions of the bench, explain the principle. No, present a major argument in the art field that passage author rejected. Yeah, that's got to be it, right? I think, right? Because Benjamin was saying that you need to go see it in person, and he didn't believe that based on the images on the website. Where the author's explanation about seeing the prayer book in person ultimately met. No, he didn't love the prayer book, because he was able to view the book in greater detail using the library's website, right? Again, because you compartmentalize passage B so well, it wasn't very long. The author of passage B indicates the figures in the prayer book are approximately the size of, I'm gonna have to just guess on this one. Prayer book. A fingernail, right? It's scarcely the size of a fingernail. Okay, it's a fingernail here. Let me see if I can get one more. The author expects that one reason the prayer book was commissioned others allowed to enjoy the experience possessing and okay, so that's how it's done, right, guys? So this is what I wanted to show you. So now we're gonna go through and we're going to just guess the same letter down. So my time's out. I got it. right? And this is if you guys are, so we're gonna show you how important this is if you're running out of time on the reading section. The majority of students that we've talked to, if you're trying to get a 36, yeah, you're gonna have to read a little bit faster on the other earlier sections. But if you're not, if that's not your priority and you just want to maximize your score, what we're gonna do now is we're gonna just guess the same letter down. And don't forget that our guessing strategy says that you're gonna go back and you should see it on your bubble sheet, on your reading bubble sheet, right? Which answer choice you've used the least. So as you're bubbling in, you're seeing which answer choice you have used the least, okay? And now we're gonna go through it and we are going to circle that answer choice, the one that you have used the least. So I'm just gonna go ahead and assume here, I'm gonna say G and B the rest of the way down. Okay, so guys, the reason that this is so important, and we're gonna grade it here in a second, assuming that you've gotten the 29 or 30 questions right because you were focused on accuracy, and don't forget that we started the timer with 5 minutes. That's a lot less time than you typically get per passage, but the idea is that you focused so heavily, so I shouldn't get, you focused so heavily on the first 3 passages and you were accurate on those 3, that getting every question right on the last one doesn't matter, assuming that you're not trying to go for a 36. If you are, then yeah, you got to read a little bit faster, but this method still works in terms of timing. Because if you had more time than the 5 minutes, we would have probably understood passage A and B pretty well. I feel like I had a pretty good handle on those 2. And then we would have quickly rolled through 28 through 30. Maybe that's right, maybe that's wrong. I don't know. But when you're running out of time, if you can still stay focused by focusing on the first 3 passages for 10 minutes, and then you go to these ones, it's so easy to compartmentalize like 50 lines of text that all you have to do is focus on that one passage A, answer the questions, and assume that you're getting the question right. And then you can go to passage B, answer those questions, and then you can go and if you have to guess like we did because you ran out of time, at least you've gotten right now, again, assuming we've gotten 29 or 30 questions correct already because we did take our time. We took 10 minutes of time for each passage, which is why we started this one with 5 minutes on the clock rather than 9 minutes. We took 10 minutes on the first 3 each because we wanted to be really accurate. We wanted to get as many questions right as we could. And now we took 5 minutes to answer about 7 questions and then guess the same letter down. So let me pull up the answer key. This was passage number 3 on the BO2 test. Passage number 3 on the BO2 test. See if I can find it. Okay, so let's go through it. So again, our assumption is that you've answered multiple questions right, you're running low on timing, but you want to do the last passage, you want to do the double passage last so that you can easily compartmentalize those small things. So even if you were only able to get through passage A there, you'd still just guess the same letter down on the remaining questions. But because our strategy says that you should read all of the passages, it's hard to read a 100-line passage. It's not very hard to read a 50-line passage and answer some questions as you just saw in that example. So question number 21 is C, question number 22 is G, 23 is D, 24 is G, 25 is C, 26 is F, 27 is A, that's great, perfect, and then I guess B and G the rest of the way down. Okay, and 28 was G, 29 was A, 30 was J. Okay, so I missed those 2. But you guys can see, so 29 and 30 were wrong. Okay, so 29 and 30 were wrong. But the reason that this is so effective, guys, again, assuming that you get, let's go back up to the top here so I can write this out. Assuming that you get, or actually take that back, let's go down here. Assuming that you're at 29 questions, right, and you have 10 minutes. Let's say you're at 29 or 30 out of 30, and you're wondering how you can improve your score, right? Well, the key is that you don't worry about time. You're worried about accuracy. If you guess the same letter down, I got another point there out of the last passage because I did the double passage last. I was able to get 8 additional questions right. 8, right? So now I'm sitting at a 38 out of 40 because I was focused on accuracy here. And if you guys want to go back and watch our other reading videos, right? Because I was focused on accuracy on those 2 and I took extra time, I took the 10 minutes rather than 8.5 or 9 minutes that you typically take. I added that extra 1.5 minutes to the other passages so that I know I could be accurate. And then I did the double passage last where it's really easy to compartmentalize, and I was still able to get 38 out of 40 questions correct, which was plus 8. I answered all of the regular passage A questions correctly, all of the regular passage B questions correctly, and then I guessed the same letter down on the last 3, but it didn't hurt me nearly as much as you think. If you don't believe me, I'll show you that on passage BO2, if you get 2 questions wrong, right? So in this case, if you got 2 questions wrong, this would be the equivalent of a 34 ACT reading. Okay, so this is a 34 ACT reading, which again just goes to show how important the accuracy on this test is. If you're accurate on the ACT reading, truth be told, 37 actually, we could have even missed one more and still gotten a 34 on this test. If you're really focused on accuracy on the first 3 passages, you can still get a 34, which is in the top 1% of students. Again, I understand that if you're looking to get a 36, that you have to read the earlier passages a little bit more quickly, but not that much more quickly. If you're doing the double passage last, it allows you to compartmentalize really well and still get 7 or 8 questions right, despite having a lot less time. In this case, we had 5 minutes, but we still got 8 questions right because we were able to compartmentalize and then just guess the same letter down on the last 3, and we still got 1 more of those right. Accuracy is key. Again, so I want you guys to take that into consideration. You can very easily implement the double passage into use this strategy in your own strategy for Saturday. It's not very hard. You're literally, once you get to the double passage, you just flip the page one more time and you do the next passage instead. You do the double passage last, and this will dramatically help with your timing while still staying accurate. Because if you get 30 minutes and you get 30 questions right, on that last 5 minutes that you have to start reading these, it's very easy to compartmentalize just a 50-line passage A passage, compartmentalize 50-line passage B passage, and then you can still get a 34 on the ACT reading section. And this still works even if you're trying to get a 36. It just means that you have to read the other ones a little bit faster so that you can get through those, and maybe you'll have 7 minutes left on the double passage. But on the double passage, it's really, really easy to compartmentalize at any level. So in any case, guys, I apologize that we didn't get through an entire reading section before this next test, another entire reading section. We do still have 2 entire reading sections available to you guys. I really hope this helps. It's been very, very hectic for us this week as our students continue to prepare, and you guys have been great. Everybody that's watching these videos on YouTube, we can't thank you enough for working as hard as you're working. If you have any questions for us, please do not hesitate to let us know. Hopefully the strategy worked. Hopefully you'll be able to implement this at the very least. And if you guys have any questions for us going forward, please don't hesitate to let us know. We hope you have a great next test. For those that are taking it this Saturday, for those that aren't taking it this Saturday or watching this at a later date, you'll probably wonder why I'm wishing everybody luck for Saturday. In any case, good luck on your next test, the next one you guys take. We hope you have a great rest of your day, and let us know if you have any questions or concerns. Have a great one, guys. Bye.